Hi guys, it's Matt, and welcome to your very first Python tutorial. Today we're going to be going over how to actually install Python, what comes with that bundle, and if you have an older version of Python and you want to install a new version, I'm going to be showing you how to delete that. So first of all, who am I? Well, this is me right here. I have a degree in molecular biology and decided that, I'd rather be doing some programming. So I am a self-taught programmer who finally got into the industry. So I'm going to be hopefully guiding you through your own journey to getting into industry if that's your goal. Well, first off, let's start with how to actually download Python. So as you can see, we're at www.python.org. How do you get there? Well, very simple. You just type in Python into Google, push enter. Should be your very first link right here. So go ahead and click on that. Let's go to downloads, and we see right here we have the Python bundle right here. And for me, since I have Windows, it's going to be Python 3.7.2. I'll go ahead and click on that to download it and wait for it to download. If you're on a Mac and you don't see the pre-populated one right here, go ahead and click on this button. If you're on a Linux and you don't see it right there, go ahead and click on this other platforms. You'll find it under there. One of the things I want to point out why we're still on this website is most of the time why you will return to this website is for the documentation. And since we're going to be using Python 3, because that's going to be the future of Python, go ahead and open that in a new tab. All right, so let's just get Python installed. So go ahead and click on our runner right here, and we're going to see that it's going to ask us to install Python 3.7.2. Okay, so a lot of us will want to click this right away. Don't do that. Stop. What we want to do is add Python 3.72 path. That's just going to save you from a headache later on. What that means is you're going to add Python and the command to your command line without having to jump through 7 hoops later on down the line. So go ahead and just click add Python to the path, and let's go ahead and install. While that's installing, I'll just talk about this documentation. One of the good things to do if you're brand new to Python and you're not coming from another language like Java or something, go ahead and do this tutorial, which basically we'll be doing. And then if you have you need to reference a function in Python or how to manipulate a primitive, which is like an integer or a string or something like that, go ahead and click on this library reference. As it says, keep this under your pillow. It's very true. All right, and then it is downloaded. So perfect. We're going to go ahead and just close out of that, and I'm going to minimize this. And so we're going to scroll down, and here is Python 3.7. All right, so at this point, if you have an older version of Python, I don't want to leave you in the dust. So if you have an older version of 3, what you need to do to get rid of it is you'll go ahead and you can come to Settings, which I'll bring over for you, and then go to Apps. And you would find Python 3.7.2. Go ahead and uninstall it. Uninstall it. It's going to ask you if you want to uninstall it. Sorry about the black screen. It always does that. And it's going to uninstall that Python. Now, if you have Python 2, yes, I downloaded both, so I could show you both. What you're going to do is you're actually going to go to your Windows and then scroll all the way down to Python 2.7 and then uninstall from here. Now that's different from the Python 3, but trust me, this is the way you uninstall it for Python 2. All right, and then you want to uninstall it. It's going to uninstall as well. All right, threw me an error because this one's still uninstalling. But what are we downloading when we run that .exe file from the Python website? What we're getting is the Python interpreter, which essentially takes our source code, which is code we write, and it turns it into Python bytecode, which then gets run on our OS. What's really nice about that is that it can run on any computer because the Python interpreter takes whatever code you have and it makes it hardware specific. So we don't have to worry about that. If you're like, what is he talking about? Don't worry about that for now. Just know that Python is super user friendly. You don't have to worry about too much of the low level stuff right now. And finally, that is close. So I'm going to go ahead and run that one more time. Sorry. I'm going to download this quickly. There we go. Install now. Hey, thanks for the wait, guys. Sorry about that. I had to download it again. Didn't want you guys watching that because this takes forever. So what did we get in that Python 3.7 package? Well, first of all, we got this really cool IDLE, which again is like a learning environment for us coders. So that's just where we're going to be spending 99.9% of our time. This is the interpreter itself that we'll be talking to through our code here. And again, manuals and documentation if you ever need help with a function and stuff. So let's go ahead and click on that. And it's called idle. And one of the important things that online tutorials don't teach you right away is what is this shell window? Okay, what is shell? Well, we're actually having a private conversation with the Python interpreter, which means the code I write in here, the Python interpreter is going to save it in memory and actually do something with it. It's very different than writing a script, which you'll hear programmers say all the time. What's a script, you ask? Well, good question. Go to File, open a new file, and you'll see we have a blank template right here. So this is a script, and this is talking to the interpreter. Now, how do you know the difference between a script and an interpreter? Well, right away, see these three carets right here on the left-hand side, which are these guys? This means we're actually talking to the interpreter directly. You can also tell by it saying Python 3.7, all this junk up here. But it means we're talking to the interpreter directly, which means our code will get run instantly. Where a script, if I was to put a whole bunch of code in here, wouldn't run instantly until I clicked run, and then it went into the interpreter. But for right now, I'll just show you a little bit. So I'm going to make something called a variable. And let's put my _name. And variables are essentially me designating a spot in memory and putting a value associated with it. So I could put something like 12. I could do a string of Matt, and then if I essentially ask the Python interpreter, hey, what is this spot in memory called my name? What's its value? It's going to output the string of Matt. And that's pretty cool. All right, so let's do the same thing over in a script, but we'll do let's do last name equals read. And notice that I can do, for strings, I can do double quotes or I can do single quotes, and it's still a string. Doesn't really matter as long as you start a string with one quote, you have to end it with that same quote. Okay. So, and then I'll push enter. Oh, and nothing happened. Huh. That's weird. Let's put, why did that happen? Oh yeah, because this is a script. We haven't run it yet. So let's go ahead and run it. So what you do is you come to run, go to run module. That's the F5 key if you're being lazy. It's going to always ask you this if you haven't saved it. Just go ahead and click yes. And now we come to naming our Python program. So I'm going to put, let's not do example. Let's do tutorial. No, let's do my name.py. And all the Python files always end in .py. This is for the interpreter to know, the Python interpreter to know to run it like code, okay? It's just a file extension like a text file. Just know that you need to end it in .py. Go ahead and save that. And now look that this interpreter side, the shell, when I ran this script, it restarted. And it's what's cool about this is it shows us that where's it running it from? Well, it tells us that it's in our C file. Well, okay, let's open our file folder and let's kind of follow along with this. So it's in our C file, it's under users. Okay, so we're under users, and then we go to MatH and app data. So app data for me is here. If you don't see map data, or app data, excuse me, go to view and then turn on hidden items. So go ahead and click that and you should see when that check mark is populated. App data, double click on that. Next is local. Then we go to programs. And we go to Python. And in the other Python, and we're here. This is where you downloaded your Python interpreter as well as where you save most of your examples. That doesn't mean that you can't save a script that you make to your desktop. It's just by default, this is where you're going to save it. And again, you can find that right here in your shell and it will tell you exactly where that is. That's quite nifty. Again, this will be really useful later. Just kind of know where your Python is. Don't let it overwhelm you yet. So we're not there yet, guys, so don't worry about it. So I'm going to click out of there, and we see I ran this, and I'll even run it again, and nothing happened. Well, that's weird because I remember when I ran this guy and I pushed enter, Matt came out. Well, why didn't that happen when I ran my script? Oh, you know why? Because I didn't call my variable. So now push enter, and voila, I get read. Well, that's pretty cool. So can I now call this variable? So if I do my name, oh no. So it threw an error at me. It says name error. It says my name is not defined. Well, that means when the interpreter restarted, it got rid of everything in memory, which was just this variable, my name, and the value of Matt. And it just got rid of it. And that's why it's good to work in a script, because every time you load this, it's going to load all these things into memory, instead of you having to then, if I want this to be the case, I have to copy and paste it, and that's just annoying. All right, so moving on with that, I can rename it if I wanted to do Matt equals, Matt. And I can actually add those two together, which is pretty cool. So plus, and I'm going to put a space here, which is just indicated by doing a space in quotes and then add another, and I'll do last name. And that is called concatenation, where I added two strings together and it printed out my name. Well, Matt, that's cool and all, but how do I get my script to print this out for me? I want right when this is loaded to print it out. What do I have to do to get that going? I'm glad you asked. So if we go print and we do, so this is a function in Python. It comes included already. So somebody wrote this code already for us, which is really nice of them. So if we do last name, so you want to put whatever you want printed out here to the screen. Right inside of this function. So now if I run it, it's going to pop out read. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, guys, so that was a little fun with the difference between knowing what a script is versus just messing around with the interpreter. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for my next video.